Welcome back to my Poshmark. Why, hello. That's what my 6-year-old says every time she hides and pops out. Welcome back to my Poshmark YouTube channel, reseller content. Today I'm going to be attempting to complete a vintage consignment haul. It is vintage 80s and 90s clothing. I don't believe I have any 70s in here. This is, when I say consignment, these are private people, and if you want to learn more about how to make money off of other people's items without spending money, I did put a video on my channel which explains to you how I go about finding these clients. And once you find a few and you get your name out there, you will find that people will just start referring you. So that video is on my channel, listed as consignment, I think is the title. So I want to show you, this is mostly pants and jeans. I have another humongous haul of vintage shoes from the same client. I'm going to go with the pants and jeans because they are stacked here this whole time. There'll be some other randoms thrown in, but I'm going to try really hard to go quickly. This is a client of mine that has some really amazing 80s pieces, and I'm really hoping you can see this. I know it's black. All of this is designer or boutique things that she bought in New York City back in the 80s and 90s. This one is by Barth. They are a high-rise leather. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see? Okay, there you go. That's actually got the tag still on it. It's a size 6, but in 80 sizes, it's actually more like a size 8. I will model these so that people can really see how they look. They have that high waist, pleated 80s style, like a Z.Cavaricci, but in leather, with these side pulls to pull the waist in. They actually button on the sides, and they have a tapered leg. They are 100% leather, in perfect condition. And yes, I smell my leather. I have a thing about smelling leather. If you are wondering if something is real or fake, if you see a bag, a pair of shoes, or anything with leather on it, and you're like, is it fake or not? You can almost always make the distinction right away by smelling it, and if you smell like a metallic-y, it's definitely not real. That's your first indicator. Okay, so these are almost the same exact style, except it has a bow in the front. If you are interested, I wore these the other day to court. She has no problem with me doing that, by the way. I wore these the other day, and these are wool, and they're, again, like that Z.Cavaricci style with the button-up high waist, pleats in the front. This is like a gray and white knit. I'm sorry, black and gray knit that makes it look, I don't know, black, white, and gray. But it has this really beautiful bow that you tie around the waist, and I wore it with a pussy. Wait a minute. I think I always wear it with, anyway, I had a pussy cat bow, long sleeve buttoned up vintage black shirt with it, and oh my gosh, it was the cutest thing ever. Whether people thought it was over the top or not, I do not care because I love it. So it also has a spot on the back for what we used to do in the 80s and 90s, wear suspenders. So you could actually wear suspenders with these, or it's just cute. They're part wool. The brand, I have not heard of this, but it's a Santa Cruz made in Korea. And they have pockets. All right, these are friggin' fantastic. When I was downstairs in her house, she has everything. She has so many pieces, so she just lays it all in the basement when she's ready for the next set. This actually still has tags on it, and she's like, I don't think that these are anything important. Well, yeah, you might be right, but they're corduroy. I'm gonna try and move this light. See if I get better lighting over here. Okay, yes, better. They are cream corduroy, high rise, side zip, and guess what? The reason I told her these are fabulous is they're like jogger button poofy ankles. These have never been worn. I know that I missed season on these just a tiny, tiny bit, What are you gonna do? But they're awesome. They have pockets, and most of the 80s pants that you find that are this pleated style have a, I don't want to call it an empire, it's not an empire waist, but there's a name for it, and somebody should put it in the comments because I don't know, but it's usually got like this waistline that's very flattering, and it goes down low and gets narrower as it goes up. Very classic 80s style pant. How long will it take me to list all of this? I don't know. I have been so behind. All right, this is just a basic skirt, but it is from the 90s. It's a pencil skirt. It's from Star & Company. I will actually put this in as vintage. I won't put the brand in the tagging. There you go. It's just a pinstripe basic. It's really cute though. It's a wrap skirt, if you can see the stripes. Okay. Another piece that I hauled from her house. Now, keep in mind, if you watch my consignment video from prior, I do tell clients that there's some things, of course, I won't take. And vintage does not go to thread up. So you're going to have to find a different way for them to get rid of those pieces. But some of it you can kind of, you know, I guess get under the radar with thread up if they want to make a box. This would have been one of them, and I'm considering it. It's a Liz Claiborne, I can't see, collection, which does make a difference, and there's another video on my channel that explains that you need to follow distinctions in a sub-brand based on Liz Claiborne collection, Claiborne, or J. Crew or J. Crew Factory. You need to pay attention to those things because there's sometimes $20, $30, $40 pricing difference on things like that. So this is a full button-down maxi. I may consider sending this into ThredUp if I don't find the comps on Poshmark worth my while, and she is okay with that. Another pair of those really interesting pleated high-waisted trousers. This is from another, these are 100% wool. They are from a designer brand, Spittleneck and Company, and they have this old-fashioned brown stripes. I call them tonal stripes when they have a darker brown and a lighter brown, because that's what a tonal stripe is. Some people are looking for tonal stripes, and that would be something I will definitely put in my description. So these have this trouser cut out in the back, and I'm sure there's a name for that too, but I just don't know it. It's lined. It has pockets. Now, one thing I just noticed as I'm looking at these is that there is one little tiny moth hole. That will not stop me from selling this right there. People will still buy it if you disclose it very, very clearly. So do not shy away from vintage. If it has a moth hole, if it's wool, people will pay for it. It's just not going to maybe pay top dollar. But if I style this properly with my photos, I don't think it's going to hurt the sale of this. It hasn't hurt me selling other items. All right, so these are different. This is a brand called, and this, okay, the tag is really cool, and you can always tell, like, these 80s tags, because it's kind of paper. This is a it's authentic U.S. wear. It's polyester and cotton, and it's like a corduroy, almost, but it's a really thin cord with a thin belt. These are that basic 80s style. Now, I don't think that I'll make a whole lot of money off of these because they have like a chevron knit. I mean, there's some things I can tag that would make them a little bit more interesting, but I don't feel like people are running after the cuffs anymore. So we'll see. All right. So there are some dresses and skirts in this haul. So this is a really beautiful, not my style, but I still appreciate it. Kate Hill, 100% silk. I would call this career wear. I would also put on here that it's resort wear. It is I call it lounge wear. This is a 100% silk pant, like a culottes pants, capri, cropped, striped green silk pant with the matching button down, sleeveless. So this is actually a Kate Hill size 4, 100% silk. Do I love listing these items? No. I don't. I'm gonna model it. I'm sure it's gonna get sold. This is not something I love, but it's a quality piece, so it gets listed in my closet. Okay, now, if you see anything Casper with a K, these are very valuable, not necessarily on Poshmark. I know you can probably sell them easier on eBay. Poshmark, I've noticed that it's more based on style, and this one has a really cool, of course, shoulder pads, 80s style. Let me just show you because I have to. It's got the 80s style shoulder pads, and the coolest thing about this, and the reason I told her I had to take it, was because of that. Yeah, that's pretty friggin' amazing. Like, who wouldn't want this, right? I kind of think I need to wear it once or twice, which is totally in my contract. And guess what? It has a matching skirt, I believe. Is this the matching? See, here's the thing. This client sometimes would piece together her own stuff and make a suit out of it, and that is actually not good for me because it's either different sizes or different materials. This skirt is actually a 90s cream skirt, polyester, not the same brand, I don't believe, not the same material. In her mind, this is a suit. In my mind, I can only sell the blazer. So, anyway, keep that in mind when you're talking to consignment clients. You've got to make sure that you give them this kind of consulting, that sizing, tailoring, all that kind of stuff makes a difference. So it's going to make a difference on their selling price. Make sure you do that. But I'm absolutely in love. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Like, I am absolutely in love with this. Have you ever? Okay. It's a throwback to times past. So even as an 80s piece, I don't even think it falls in that category, but just because of the shoulder pads. But this is just incredible to me. So it's got this tiny, beautiful rhinestone pin. And if you wanted to, obviously, you can wear it open. Now, I don't know, throw it over that shoulder, throw it over this shoulder, smack somebody in the face with it like this thing. I love it. All right, so I'm going to try really hard to stop saying all right and so. I don't know how I got these. This is an accident. They're Bandolinos. Poshmark doesn't give a shit, so it seems, about Bandolino, at least shoes and purses in my closet. But these are, I guess we would call them palazzo pants. They're capris, they're wide leg capris. Probably why I told her I would sell them. I'm gonna try. To be honest with you, stuff like this is really not something I want to do. But it's Bandolino blue. It is definitely vintage. It's cotton and spandex. I just feel like this is going to be one of those bread and butter items, which by the time I list it, put my time into it and sell it, I'm not making any money off of it. This might be one I tell her to send to thread up. I will put the box together for her, and I make sure that she gets them back, so that way if they don't sell for what she wants, at least I can try and help her out in finding a way to get rid of it anyway. That personal attention really makes a difference to your client. It's like we're both on the same team to eliminate sometimes people that have way too much stuff. This is like a shopping alcoholic kind of person, a shopaholic. Anyway, so she had a little late in season, right? She had this really, really cool, I would call this a boating jacket. It's called Ocean Star. It's like a cruise jacket. It's made of canvas, and it's got all these buckles, and it's got these, they should be brass, but they're wood. I don't know that this matters, whether it's season or not. I'm still going to list it, but it's definitely it just reminds me of, I don't know, an island jacket. It's lined, and I will make sure I put in my listing that it's quilt lined. It still has its little tag like it's never been worn. It's made in Italy. I will make sure I mention that. It's got Italian sizing. So anyway, still, try and pick up your jackets. Make sure you put in the listing what they are filled with, if they are filled, and you'll see that will help a lot. Now this jacket, I haven't done any comps on yet. It's called Andrea. And it's actually a junior 13. The reason that I took this one not in season is because I think it's made of camel. And when it has, okay, this is why. Number one, it's wool, not camel. But number two, the most important thing to me is that I have this IL. If you don't know or have not seen this, make sure you learn. ILGWU is a union tag indicating vintage. If you look up these tags on Pinterest or any other site, you will be able to definitely time your piece better. Also, if you show this tag in the listing and how this particular jacket is like mint condition, people purposely, I find in my vintage sales, people are looking for specific union made clothing. So if it's WPL and it has a number, you should put that. If it's ILWGU, International Ladies Garment Workers Union, then you should definitely put a picture of it. People are looking for that, and this is a really nice jacket. All right, here's another one. Now, I don't want to get too detailed on any of the branding and all that stuff, but I just want to tell you that even when you find hiking boots and they're a good brand and they're leather, or you don't know the brand, but you can sense that it's good, you should definitely be listing them if you can get them for cheap enough. Now, these ones are, you know, pretty distressed. I'll clean them up, and I was got yelled at in another video about how to clean up leather quickly. I made a comment about how I would use olive oil if I had to clean up leather or refurbish leather, condition leather, and I was yelled at by 2 different people. Got my first 2 thumbs down, which is okay with me, and they said, hey, you cannot use food products on leather. So now that I have been informed, I will advise you to only buy leather cleaner or leather conditioner. I know that everybody talks about Doc Martin Miracle Balm. I do use mink oil because I am a baseball family and we use them on our gloves. So I know that I'm spending good money on baseball gloves. I can use mink oil. Also, I did use orange oil. That is obviously a food product. It said it would eventually rot this. I love orange oil. I think it looks beautiful and it smells beautiful. So anyway, these are options, but don't sleep on the hiking boots, no matter the condition. People that are hiking, they don't mind spending extra money sometimes on a boot that's been used, because hunting boots are real expensive, and they don't mind it if they have some distressing. I sold a pair of really used Timberlands for $42 within the first couple days. It was in my December haul video, I believe. So again, maybe a little lengthy, but do not ignore hiking boots just because they look like they're a little worn. People like wear worn sometimes. You can put wear worn in your listing. I learned that from the Poetry of Nice. Anything that's wear worn, and this one has the shearling lining, you should be putting all these tags in so that your stuff can stand out from others. And I just actually found a flaw in these, so I can't sell them. I will be returning them to my client. It's actually split, and this is another thing you need to make sure you're checking for, especially dealing in vintage. I have found a lot where you'll have this split of the sole from the glue. Now, is that fixable? Yes. But then there's another issue on this particular boot. I don't know if you can see it. We always hear, or I've always heard with Danskos, which is a modern shoe, a clog made of rubber that a lot of nurses wear. It's a comfort shoe. The Danskos get this dry rot and it's cracked. Well, this boot has the same problem. So when you have your vintage boots, you want to definitely pull and make sure there's no actual cracks, but this one had it before I even pulled. So I will give this back to my consignment client and let her know that I'm not willing to put this in my closet because of that, and she will probably have it either, if they're valuable shoes, she may decide to have a cobbler fix them. That's her decision, or possibly donate them. Also, another thing when you're dealing in vintage shoes is I put my, well, if I can fit in them, I put my feet in them because when you take your feet out, sometimes you will find that there's like a dry rot inside of the shoe that you can't see. Or put your hand in there and you'll see that when you pull it out, it might have this like weird black, what used to be a foamy type of material that is now dried out. And if you don't check, your client, and people are spending good money on vintage shoes. It's your job to check. Put your hand in there, check it out, pull it out, see if you have any of that residue. If there is that dry foam residue, that shoe, either you're gonna have to literally get it out of there. If you can, scrape it or remove it. If it's not worth it, do not sell it. But you have to check your vintage shoes for this. Thankfully, this consignment client, I'm able to wear her shoes, wear the same size. So every time I put them on, take my feet out, I know right away. Make sure you're checking. Nothing here. Okay, so here's something I just cannot pass up. These don't make a lot of money, but I love too much. See these vintage tags? And I love them. They're made in the USA. They've got the stitching. This is that pussycat bow, I believe they're called. I just love these shirts. So, if I can get it on. So, even though these will not sell for a ton of money, I will put it on, model it with, it's polyester or rayon or whatever. I will model it with a pair of these brown pants that I showed you before. This is adorable though. Like, I can't see this not being given or bought by somebody who loves this style like I do. Look at this. It's got the little tiny cutout right here. I'm assuming that this is for something else, and I don't know what it is. Probably the bow to go through it, actually. So anyway, it's a full button down, and what I will do is probably take these pair of pants, which is probably the way she wore it, model it with this top, and put on a really cute pair of shoes. So people can choose, and then I'm using my photos for both listing the shirt and the pants. And sometimes, if the shoes are included, the shoes. So, oh, I said I was going to stop saying so, right? Hold on. She had littler arms than me and much narrower shoulders. I noticed that, and we've talked about that in all of her stuff. Here's another one where I'm not sure if I'm willing to list it, but it's silk. And it's cute, and it's light, and it's in season, coming up in the spring. It's in really good condition. It's a knit. Maybe I might put this on. It's by the brand Condor, which I do believe people are familiar with in the vintage world. So that's a maybe. All right, this is one of my favorites because it is so 90s, even 80s. Still has the tag. It's a Gantos, and back in whenever she bought this, the 80s or 90s, it actually retailed for $68 back then. So if you don't know Gantos, people can also pronounce it Gantos. But this is one of their tags. It's like, you know, wearable art. I don't know if you've ever seen that tag, wearable art. I sell a good amount of this brand, and people seem to like it. Different styles. So back in the 80s and 90s, all of this very rich piping with the gold, and I don't know if you can see, but there's like it's a lot of embroidery, beads, bling, and this metallic, and that was huge then. So this is one of those vests, and we would wear it with nothing underneath it and a pair of jeans. Well, I was a little too young at that time, but you can use this for so many different things when you are trying to pair it with your wardrobe. So this could be worn by itself in the summertime. That's the way I wear them, is I wear them in the summer with nothing at all, and wear them like a tank top. Sometimes even in my listings, I will list them as tank tops. Vests, vintage vests. So anyway, this is called vintage dead stock because when something has a tag on it, it is new with tags technically, but technically it's not, because it actually is no longer being in production, made in production. So you call it, if you ever see something called dead stock, that's what that means. It is no longer in production, but it's new in its original condition with the tag. All right. This one, I was a little disappointed she pulled out so late, but to me, this looks like it's Christmas, right? No? It's a sweater dress. I'm sure it'll still sell. It's, I think, Angora by the look of it and feel of it. I don't think it has to be Christmas. Any blingy mama will wear this. It is awesome. It's got this huge turtleneck, and it's great for anybody who's going on a ski vacation too, which we haven't missed the bus on yet. Okay, so this is Metropolis by Catherine Lover, and I want to tell you guys, like, these are probably tags you just don't really think about when you see them, because they're not really like very famous stuff, but it's just the style that is in style right now. This is 70% lamb's wool, 20% Angora with humongous shoulder pads. When listing vintage, you should let people know if the shoulder pads are removable or not, like easily. Like this one, you can just literally make 2 clips and the shoulder pads are out. Some pieces, the shoulder pads are built in, and if you really want to be cautious and have repeat vintage clients, you should be letting them know if they will be able to remove shoulder pads. Some people really dislike them, but they love the style. I do have people asking me, are those shoulder pads removable? Okay, so these are not vintage, but this is something I'll throw into ThredUp. It's an Alfani skinny leg. I don't really like selling this stuff, and also black is hard for me to photograph, and also these are petites. Just doesn't make it worth my time. All right, so okay, this would be something I would have thrown into her ThredUp box, but with this red piping, and it's an INC, and it's a WPL, so it is old. I don't know, I just really thought this was cool. And I didn't think that ThredUp would want it because it's over 5 years old, and very obviously, like, I don't think I can slip this one by. With like a utility jacket, surplus jacket, army jacket, I don't know. I think this could be like really hot. I don't know, we'll see. But it's an INC, it's a Macy's brand. Okay, these are Lucky, and I hear a lot of people say they have different experiences with Lucky. I don't have, they sell fast, but for me, they don't usually sell for a ton. It's okay though. These are really awesome to me. I love surplus pants, army surplus pants, utility pants, whatever you want to call them. This is a size 10 or 30 waist, and there's so many different Lucky labels, but this is the label for this one. These are in new condition. Everything she has is like immaculate, so I will list those. Okay, this is actually so funny. It's like literally metallic rayon pants, pull-on pants. If I put these on, take a picture, they'll probably sell really quickly, and the biggest thing in the world right now is they have pockets. So I will describe these as metallic pull-on leggings, elastic waist, tapered leg, rayons, you know, blingy 80s, 90s, blah, 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 blah. High waist. Make sure you are measuring your rise in these kinds of pants. If it's a 10-inch rise, that's generally what we're calling a high waist right now. If it's higher than that, you can call it sky high, super high. I mean, there's all kinds, but make sure if it's 10, you make sure you put that on there. There are people that specifically only want high waist, and there's people that specifically only want other types of waistlines, especially when it's a pull-on. Oh, these are cool. This is a vintage Gloria Vanderbilt tag. The pants themselves I don't get too excited over, and they're obviously in a collaboration with a designer. These would have been really expensive probably in Bloomingdale's or Saks or something. I forget where Gloria Vanderbilt is sold, Nordstrom maybe. And back then I don't even know the answer to that for sure, but This has a material tag that says it's 100% wool. Meanwhile, it's a really light brushed wool. So I don't normally sell Gloria Vanderbilt, especially something simple like pants. But I believe that these would actually be something that a vintage buyer would like. People that really like nice clothing, don't mind paying a little bit more for something like that. I need a drink. All right. Again, not a huge moneymaker, but in its casual corner, I'm considering whether I want to send this into ThreadUp or not, but it's just too cute. It's a casual corner, 90s style, really high slit button skirt, and it's a full length, floor length. So I don't know, we'll see. Jean skirts are just fabulous, so we'll see. And especially coming into the spring. And again, she gives me discretion to make these choices when we're going through pieces. There's certain pieces that she says, no, no, no. But that one, those items I have my discretion. So this is 100% silk, and this is a designer brand. This might be on the Luxe list with ThreadUp. I'm not 100% sure, but I bet you when I put it into Poshmark, and I do often, even on just put it into Google, these, you can just tell that when you feel that this is probably a really expensive Luxe brand. Bert Newman, I'm not familiar with it, but that doesn't mean anything because I don't know every freaking brand. It has these built-in cheapy pads, shoulder pads, which I know. See, these are sewn in. This is why it's important to differentiate with your clients about shoulder pads when you're selling vintage. When they're fully stitched in, they need to know that because it's not that easy to get rid of, okay? Make sure that you're putting as much detail into those types of things as you can. I know Poshmark only gives us 8 pictures. If you don't already, you should be using some kind of an app where you can take 4 photos that are detailed and make them into one grid photo. Like I use Pic Collage. There's so many more, but I like Pic Collage. You can download the app, it's free, and of course it has add-ons if you want. Now this is friggin' fantastic. Listen, I don't love the 80s style, so it's not like I would be rocking this myself, okay? It's just that I appreciate good pieces. I don't know if you can see this as well as I wish you could. Yes, you can. Okay, so look at how it's banded on the arms. It's got all of the bling, the black beads all over. This is so 90s, truthfully, because this was like the purple that we had in the 90s. And these beads, it's an open front cardigan, but it's cropped. So, you know, this can be made to be dressed up and be formal. You could wear this with I would wear this with jeans and a black tank top and heels for a more casual thing. So this is fantastic. I love it. Let's see. So this brand is, I'm not sure, it looks like it says Galley. It's 100% cotton. It's a size small, but remember, a size small in the 80s and the 90s is not today's size small. Look at this thing. It's definitely, when I measure it, it's going to measure like a large. So make sure you put that stuff in your listing, or you're not going to have good luck selling with vintage if you're not doing that. This is the tag, Galley. Oh my God. Okay, so this is why I'm doing this haul. This is the reason. I got super excited when I saw her pull out Z.Cavaricci's, the original OG. My sister wore them, and she was older than me, and I could never have a pair. MC Hammer inspired, or I don't know if who inspired who first, but Z.Cavaricci's when you were a kid in the 80s and 90s, mostly the 80s, early 90s. If you didn't have that Z.Cavaricci on the zipper, then you were just trying to front with like some Kmart pants. If I recall, and like I said, I was younger during this period. I was like 8 or 7 when my sister was rocking these. I think these were like $90. And if you could, and then the more, you know, distressing and all that kind of stuff, the more expensive they got. So this client has, I think, 3 pairs, perfect condition. Z.Cavariccis are known to have this very high tight waist. They have the pleats. They are generally jean material, not always though, cotton for sure, and some of them are dyed. They have pockets and they have the tapered leg at the bottom. Now, if you guys have never seen a pair of Z.Cavariccis, you need to just do a little research, check it out, and if you come across them, I haven't even done the comps. I don't even know what they're selling for, if they're selling for anything special, but I love them, so I don't care. Z.Cavariccis were like literally the shit. So I have this pair, which is a whitewash, acid wash, distressed. You can call it a gazillion different things. Then she has this brown pair, and I'm really curious to see which one goes first. This is a brown, almost exactly the same. It's the same style. And it's a different size, brown, Z.Cavaricci. If you are trying to sell Cavariccis, they still make them, okay? I think, at least recently. They still have the brand, at least. The brand Cavaricci. So if you are out there and you're sourcing and you don't see the Cavaricci with this on, with that on the zipper, then please understand that you need to take a look in your phone and check out if they are actually going to sell or if they're as valuable. Because if they're more modern, then they might not be the ones you want to pick up. So definitely don't just say, oh, I see Cavaricci. The year and stuff like that do make a difference. These are just some fancy schmancy little career shirts, and they're just pretty and flowy. I just liked them. Okay, now mall brands like Express, Gap, I don't generally pick up because I know people sell them all the time and they're bread and butter for them. But I got to the point where I want to really like what I'm listing, so generally I'll sometimes sell Express, but other than that, I'm not really too crazy on regular mall brand sweaters and pants and the basics. Not my thing. But if I see the mall brand from back in the day, the 80s and the 90s, and this one's wool, I will list it simply because these were made better back, in my opinion. They were made better back then. The mall brands that we now are called mall brands, back then, if you were shopping in Express, they were more expensive than they are now, and they're better, much better quality. So they weren't just a trendy piece all the time. They were actually made for quality. So I will definitely be selling anything that's a mall brand that's vintage. That's my opinion. You don't have to listen to me, right? All right, so this is one of my favorites. It actually is one of these boutique shops. When you're in a large metropolitan area, you can definitely find a lot of designer boutique vintage labels, and that's what this is. It's a private person that was making clothing in her own boutique, or his own boutique. And this one's called The Custom Shop, and it's on 5th Avenue in New York. It has the fabric covered buttons, and you want to make sure you mention these things. It has the pussycat bow, and it's a silverish gray. It's just gorgeous. Ooh, I forgot about this one. I have somebody who does my photos of bags and shoes. Obviously, I forgot to give her this. This is a vintage snakeskin bucket bag, right? Pretty cool. All of this client's bags are top of the line, and this one has its own little wallet attached. It says the brand Lisa. Now, I'm not familiar, haven't done any research on that yet. I don't know if that's going to make any bit of difference, so I probably would just list this as vintage. I'm not sure yet. But this is really cute, right? All right, I'm almost done. This is like a couple more pairs of pants and we are out. Here's the white Cavaricci. I will let you know in an update. I guess when I do my what sold video, you'll find out which color sells first. Okay, this is something I would definitely pass on ordinarily, but these are like straight up mom jeans from the 80s, and they're Liz Claiborne. I don't love them, but I know that someone else will, and I just don't want to see pieces go to waste. But they, again, I'm not going to sell them for a ton of money. I just love them. If you see stuff like that and you don't have to actually spend a lot on them, you should definitely be picking them up and definitely be tagging them as mom jeans. These are Tommy's. Okay, Tommy was crazy busy when I first started like 15, 16 months ago, 18 months ago on Poshmark, like really sought after. And then, I don't know, I've noticed it go down. So this is a pair of white Tommy capris. I'm gonna do the comps on these. It is vintage, it's got, and it has that leather label with the spell out, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna do the comps, and if I'm not interested, I'll send them to ThredUp. But I am laying off of Tommy. I'm not picking up Tommy, just so you know. Here's another pair of Tommy's, like I said. This I can't send to ThredUp. I'll probably have to list these because they're really, you know, they're jeans instead of capris, so I'd probably have to list these. We'll see. And ThredUp won't take that over the jean. These are Calvin Klein's. I do find that I sell Calvin's really well. So it's an older style. I don't like it very much, but we'll see. I might send that to ThredUp as well, but I do sell Calvin really well. If you find Calvins that have the big leather patch on the back, this one does not, so let me just clarify. The Calvins with the big leather patch on the back right here, and it's a brown patch and it says CK. Those are like the original, when Calvin's really started really becoming what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, when Calvin's became mainstream and they hired Kate Moss and we all started to wear the perfume and etc. They had this leather label. They had CK1 was the major perfume, and they had this major label that was huge brown leather that had the actual huge C and K. If you see those in jeans, those ones sell really well, men or women. And they have to be the high-waisted ones. But they sell really well for me. And I actually hate listing pants, just so you know. Okay, so the CK would look like this patch as far as size and kind of color. But of course it would say CK. These are the same kind of idea, but it's Ralph Lauren, and these are vintage as well. So I don't love to sell jeans. I used to. I love jeans, but selling them seems to be an issue for me. But I won't let these babies go anywhere else. So they're gonna be listed by me. Okay, this is a really cool dress, and I haven't done the comps on it yet. It's London Times. I do believe that that's an expensive brand, and it is new with tags. This thing is so, I probably have owned this or something like it. This is my style. We would do this thing in the 90s, and it would be like a jean dress on the bottom and material on the top, all built into one. This one's in black, so it's like a t-shirt material on the top, casual looking, with a built-in jean. It is a band dress, banded, like a Band-Aid dress, and it's just like gorgeous. And the way you got it on was a big, huge, tacky side zipper. I'm gonna guess that this one's gonna go for a decent amount of money, especially if it's modeled, not just hanging. So follow me to see if this one goes and for how much. Okay. And this was an INC. I'm considering sending it into ThredUp, but she actually told me to keep it for myself because this is a great under piece for layering. And it just is. I love it. So anyway, that's that. Another pair of vintage jeans. Are these anything that you need to know? Oh, no. This is called Zone Blue. I don't think that anybody's looking for those, but these are, you know, light wash, mom jeans, da-da-da-da-da. I am considering doing some distressing on this myself because I know people are loving the light wash destroyed jeans right now that are vintage with the high waist. And I might want to just practice, and she wouldn't have a problem with me doing that. See if I can get more money out of it by doing it. I'm not sure. If I decide to, you'll see a video. These are another pair of Ralph Lauren. I hate them, but they're high waist. They got to be offered to the public. Somebody loves Ralph Lauren black pants that are high waist. Okay, these are just INC. I don't want to sell these. I'll definitely send these into ThredUp. They are not my thing at all. Don't even know why they're in this bag. All right, this is Larry Levine. Again, I don't love selling these. They'll probably go into ThredUp as well. ThredUp pays pretty good for these. So Poshmark, people aren't running after that brand because I'm sure the style isn't there. Now here is a pair of pants that regardless of them being, this is where you need to understand that style does influence, and then brand comes, they play hand in hand. Because these are wide leg, and that's very much in right now, people are wearing white pants a lot, or light wash. This has this vintage, it's not embroidered, but it has this vintage insignia on the pocket. That's a big deal, and it's high-waisted. And then add to it that it's Ralph Lauren. So you've got those, all of those things going for you. You can kind of assume that these, and also being such a big size, these are, it says size 8, but really they look like they're today 12 to me. Anyway, when you see that, then you just, bam, you know you have to take them if they're not expensive. So normally I would, if I just saw this pair of white pants like this, I would definitely pass. But I saw this right there, that was like definite. The wide leg, they're in new condition, never been worn. And then to see that they're Ralph Lauren, vintage, done. That's how I decide. Same thing with these. Oh my God. Okay. Again, had I found these just looking at them by looks, they would have been in my basket to buy. It's leather with studs on the pockets. See that? You've got the whiskering and the jean right here, and actually distressing all the way down, and they're like a blackish gray. Wide leg, they're like brand new. So I would have, and they're a great size. Even though they say 8, again, this is huge. Not huge, I mean bigger than an 8. So anyway, it's a great size. I will make sure that when I list this, I do not put the size 8 as my listing. I will put that the tag says 8, but it measures like blah. Because I know that somebody buying this that is a size 8 will not fit into it. It's more like a 10 or 12. So that is something I will make sure that I note in my description. Anyway, so then you see all this and you're like, wow, those are really interesting. And this allows me to tag this in so many different ways. I mean, this is like, you know, this is like punk, motorcycle, Western. I mean, there's so many things going on here that you can tag that will bring new audience to just a pair of regular black, distressed, vintage Ralph Lauren jeans. Now, on their own, I would have picked them up. But then add to it that it's Ralph Lauren, and people trust that brand. They trust the quality of it, and etc. So this was like a no-brainer for me. Had I seen this pair of pants, even Ralph Lauren, without this, I probably wouldn't even have touched it, just so you know. Okay. This has a new with tags. It's an EC. I know that these are sold in Macy's. This has an original price of $59. These don't go for a ton of money. It's like a baby doll shirt, not a dress. So, you know, I'm gonna look on Poshmark and see if it's worth listing. I know I'll sell it. Is it worth my time to list it? I'm not sure. It's got the tiered ruffle. It's layered, it's gauzy, it's really pretty, and it's perfect for the season coming. But I could also send it in to thread up for her and probably let her get like a couple bucks off of it, and I don't have to do anything after that. So I have to decide. It's different when you're doing consignment for people. You just have to decide what you want to make per piece, and if it doesn't work out with that model, then you shouldn't even touch it. Okay, so anyway. But consider the fact that you're not paying for it. You're laying out no money. So this is definitely disgusting. It has raccoon tails on it, okay? And leather knitted, yeah. This would be the second item that I've gotten from this client with raccoon tails. Which I don't know, I've never, my brother used to wear the Davy Crockett real raccoon cap, and it just skeeved me to death. But anyway, but somebody's gonna want this, right? And it has a vintage designer brand inside, which I have not looked up, but I can tell by the tag itself that it's definitely a good one. And also, believe it or not, when something says tricot, usually that indicates that it is expensive. I know that sounds weird, right? But that's what I'm finding, at least in my region. Okay, so I'm looking here now to see I was gonna say amen, but no. What the material content is, because that is something that people are constantly asking. This is wool and acrylic 50-50. And I wanted to see also if I could find any union markings, and I don't, which is not surprising. It's friggin' raccoon. I don't know if the union was really working with raccoon, but anyway, so I will tag this as all kinds of things: tribal, boho, Native American, raccoon, rustic. I might even say it's a little bit tacky, because it is. So, all right, guys, that finalizes my clothing haul with that client. The next haul will be her shoes, her third round of shoes. We got rid of all the formals. Now I believe she explained to me that we have the more basic shoes coming up. So when I get a chance, I will be uploading that video after this one, I think. You never know with me. I go from one place to the next and I change my mind. So at this point, you got a vintage haul of consignment clothing. And that's that. So if you wouldn't mind, do me a favor. Tap that like button, hit the subscribe button, and notifications. I am giving away a $150 mystery box to my first 100 subscribers. No, I actually passed 100. I think it's the first 1,000 subscribers. And if you follow me on Instagram, that will help improve your chances. It is XO Russell Posh on Instagram, and that's double S, double L. Also, if you want to find my Poshmark closet, that is XO Russell, double S, double L. So like the button, subscribe the button, hit the notifications. I will keep on getting better. I just started doing these videos, actually just started posting. I just started posting these videos. So if you have any comments, that would be fantastic. And if you actually press the like button, that'll help me with my YouTube. So I would really appreciate it if you made it all the way through this video. Then at least put something in the comment like, bitch, please. All right, do something, say something. Let me know you care or don't care. I don't care. Just let me know. Okay, we agree on that. Look at these eyes. Do you see what my life is doing to me? Oh, fuck. All right, bye, bitches.